Funny cars, funny cars, funny cars. It's the 60th annual Ozark Crane Labor Day Weekend Classic featuring Funny Car Chaos, presented by Fleet Fuels. Friday night and Saturday, August 29th and 30th. See dozens of ground-pounding flip-top floppers from across the country, plus those gear-slamming Dirty South gassers and more. Every ticket is a bit pass, and kids 12 and under get in free. Visit MoKanDragway.com for more information. 2 days of high-octane family fun at Smokin' Mo-Kan. We'll see you at the drags.
We certainly will see the drags, and you'll see and hear David and myself, Lee Craft, and Chaos is live. And, well, David, we got a little sidetracked, but weather's not going to stop us.
Well, it's not going to stop us on the live stream, that is for sure. At least, knock on wood, I hope it's not going to. I've gotten a little bat shy of saying anything at all about the weather in 2025. It's the season that just keeps on canceling, but we didn't cancel at Mo-Kan for the Nitro Chaos event there, and we're going to be talking with the winners from that particular outstanding event coming up here in just a little while, and of course DMP Awnings continues to bring the great action at Nitro Chaos, and we're excited about all the things that happened there. You know, just to give you kind of a recap of all the activities that happened up at Mo-Kan, we had another great crowd of the Mo-Kan faithful as they were there to celebrate the 63rd anniversary of that great track being in operation, and we had the funny car simulator there. And you know, one of the things that we talk about all the time is how family friendly, how kid friendly Chaos events are, and that was really in evidence at the Nitro Chaos event there with the funny car simulator there. Of course, it's beautiful with that wrap from Kryptonite Customs, and it's got the scheme like it's Tom Hoover's Showtime funny car, which makes it just cool if it was not something you could get in and actually take a simulated ride down the racetrack. But the kids were all about that. They were everywhere. They were enjoying it. Some of the big kids too, which is kind of the point. You want to have everybody get the opportunity to experience something like that, even if it's virtual, that kind of helps them see the magic of what we see and what we continue to bring to racetracks across the nation. It has been so much fun. And we had Matthew Stutzman, the armless archer, was there at the event at Mo-Kan Dragway. And of course, we got a chance to see him earlier in the year at Chaos in the Cornfield. And of course, his skills as a race car driver are pretty cotton picking amazing, driving with his feet. But for those that haven't seen the archery demonstration, we got to see that both days. Now, I don't know what you're thinking about, archery. The only experience I have with archery, because I'm not a bow hunter, is back when my kids were in scouting and we would go to summer camp. Well, archery was one of those things that was set up along the way. And in fact, at the camp that we used to go to, it was right close to the horseback. But it is a skill, and it is a skill that you can master. And Matthew Stutzman has definitely done that. So he comes out and he asks the crowd how far away should they put the target, and the target is a large square of foam rubber wrapped in canvas, and it's got a balloon on it, and it's not a huge balloon. It's just a balloon like you would see on a bouquet for your birthday or something like that. Actually, not that big. But anyway, so the crowd they kept saying, "Oh, go further, go further." Well, 330 feet. If you can imagine this, you're standing underneath the goalposts at a football stadium, and you're shooting to the goal line at the opposite end. That's 330 feet, and that's half track on the racetrack there at Mo-Kan Dragway. So they take it out there, and Matthew sets up, and both days, I mean, wind, a little bit more wind on Saturday than on Friday, but more wind than you would think enough wind that you would think that it would probably have a little bit of problem. But first shot, both days, pops the balloon, and I'm still stunned. And so Matthew Stutzman, your inspiration lives on. And of course, for those of you that were watching on the live stream and those of you who get a chance to see that in replay, man, very, very impressive. Plus impressive on the racetrack as he guided his Camaro car down the racetrack and in a match race against the Cuddy, John Andrade Jr., and they had some trouble with their car on the second day, but it was a good match. And it was so much fun to see. But that was part of the action that we got a chance to witness and experience there. And, of course, Mo-Kan Dragway, Carl Blanton and Craig and everybody there, Tyler, all you guys and gals that make that place so special. The improvements just continue to be piled up on, and we can hardly wait. There'll probably be something else that happens between now and Labor Day weekend. When we get back there for the Funny Car Chaos event for the Labor Day Weekend Classic. Saw that advertised just a little bit ago, and that will be outstanding. But coming out of the Nitro Chaos event there, we're going to talk tonight with the winner of the McKinney Motorsports A Field, Cody Austin. We're going to talk with the winner, first-time winner, from the CP Carrillo B Field, Brian Coleman, and we've had him on before because up, to this point, you don't see any street fuel coupe, nitro burning coupes that's street legal. And Brian will be talking about his first trip to the winner's circle in Nitro Chaos competition, and it was quite the journey, both to the racetrack, at the racetrack, and on the way home. You'll find out some more about that coming up in a little bit. The race at Mo-Kan Dragway was race number 75 in the history of Chaos competition. It was the 15th Nitro Chaos race, and there has been 60 Funny Car Chaos races. The 60th one, we actually showed up. Everybody was all dressed up and no place to go because the liquid sunshine came down and completely washed it out. It's the only time that there's ever been a race that wasn't pre-canceled because of the weather. It looked like on the forecast that we were going to be able to get it in, and it did not happen because it just simply washed us out for that weekend. So it counts as a race because we were all there. But anyway, we've got more action coming your way, and we will preview the coming event up at Byron Dragway, as Funny Car Chaos is going to be making our first trip ever to Byron Dragway. And we've got lots to talk about there. We have a lot to talk about as well when it comes to the DMP Awning Nitro Chaos Championship Tour. The points battle is tight. We've got 1 point, just like in Funny Car Chaos. We've got 1 point between number 1 and number 2. Now, in Nitro Chaos, there's only one race left, and that's coming up. It's going to be your Twisted Shifters 360 Steel Nitro Chaos Championship Finals at Midstate Dragway, presented by Morrill Brothers Ford. That's going to be October 3rd and 4th. There was a lot of time for us to get to that, and our Nitro Chaos racers, they will most definitely be planning their strategies for going into that last event, as the points battle is extremely tight. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a little break and give you an opportunity to hear from some of the wonderful people that make Nitro Chaos and Funny Car Chaos go. And when we come back, we'll get in here with our first interview of the night. And we'll be talking with Cody Austin from Team Bushwhacker. Be right back. And we are back with Chaos Live here on Wednesday night, and we have got our winner from the event at Mo-Kan Dragway back with us. Cody Austin is going to be joining us. You can see he is outside enjoying this summertime weather. Cody, glad to have you on Chaos Live. Welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks for having me. Appreciate it. Big honor.
Well, I appreciate you taking time. And from talking to you just a little bit earlier, you've got Bushwhacker World Headquarters Part 2 underway there at they're underway at your place there, with you guys traveling all over the country now.
Yeah. So what he's talking about, I guess, is that we came back from the race in Milan, and I got a place in Cincinnati, and we've been reworking the gravel road, so that the trailer would get in and out. Dad's been on the skid steer all day working on that. So yeah, you can kind of see just behind us, and you wonder why I'm sitting here. Well, there's a trailer in the car. We were just working on that right there, getting it ready to unload.
Well, I see you've got one of your family members there with you, taking in all the excitement of you being on the show.
Yeah, these are my two of my little t-shirt sellers. Yeah, two of my best t-shirt sellers. They're up here with me. They kind of the last two races, so they were there for the win, and then they were also there at Milan with us. So my oldest, she's back home with her mom. She qualified for the Junior Olympics in the 800, so she's got that on Friday. So she's been practicing all week, so she couldn't come, but. Yes, my wife stayed home with her.
All right. Well, young ladies, glad to have you joining us. And apparently speed runs in the family, Cody.
I guess so.
Hey, so just to give some people some background about you that they may or may not know, is you've got a background in your career with computers and technical. Can you give us a little bit about that?
Sure. So, I went to college, and I went to college thinking I wanted to be a doctor. I was 17, 18, didn't really know what I wanted to be. Right. And so I thought, oh, that sounds good. So I went there, and then at the time I didn't really realize though that, I didn't really love the sight of blood. So I got there to college, and I was in that program, and I was like, man, I don't really love this. So I fell in with a group of guys in Nashville. They call it INLUG, the Nashville Linux Users Group, and kind of got introduced to Linux and started playing around with it. And next thing I know, I switched out of the arts and science school over to engineering, and kind of the rest is history. Went from there to I was writing code, and now I do like infrastructure as code, putting stuff in the cloud, AWS. So that's kind of the full-time gig. But yeah. Done a whole lot of different stuff with computers over the years. Dad and I are kind of the opposite end of the spectrum on that. He's anti-computer, and then I'm the computer guy. It kind of works out though, because he lets me run that end of it.
Well, that's cool. And you guys are experiencing some opportunity to connect. And, there is no doubt with all the championships that your dad has, all the event victories and all that kind of stuff that he has, doing it old school, right? That he definitely has some expertise in that. And so some of this new technology that you are advocating, right, that might, you guys are easing your way into that. I'm told
a little bit, yeah. Especially with the funny car now. I joined up, and Dad's got all the experience of getting it down the track the old school way. Doesn't have a crank trigger. On the altered, doesn't have a computer. He's had one guy, early on who kind of set up a computer, but then once that guy, kind of left, he didn't have any of the data or didn't know how to do it or anything. And I was here in Ohio at the time, and so I had newborns and stuff, and didn't have time to mess with it. And then wound up moving back to Texas, and so kind of got involved, and we're kind of easing into that world, and so I was like, hey, if you can make it run, this good the old school way, Dad, why don't we do a computer? And so with Dad, it's always a process of proving it out though, right? Because it's always like, he's got a way that he likes to do things, and if you're going to try something different, it has to be proven to him that it's going to work. And so we've been undergoing that journey, especially with the funny car. We ramped up pretty quick in that regard. We're working on the tune. It's much different pump. But the data is definitely going to help in that regard.
Yeah. Now, so with 2025 and the announcement of the IHRA racing, and then you guys pulling out the funny car to go should do some of that. You guys had a plan for putting you in the seat and racing a little Nitro Chaos to get you some seat time and to get you acclimated to driving the Bushwhacker and experiencing some racing success of your own. And you guys could either run 2 cars or your dad could run one and you would have more experience. Or as it turned out, you got in the seat of the Bushwhacker and started to do well in a hurry.
Sort of out of necessity, I guess. So what happened is Dad originally was like, oh, I can teach you, in my car. I was kind of nervous. So I actually went and bought a 108-inch wheelbase, gas altered without even telling him anything. I just showed up with it because I wanted to practice a bit. And then we got so busy in 2023 it is the end of 2023, actually. Yeah, I made 2 laps in it. A 630 pass and a 555 pass, or actually 3. I'm sorry. I launched off the line a little bit, 60 foot or something, but then 630 and then a 555, and then it stayed parked in all 2024. We were just too busy racing, and when I'm not racing, I've got all the kids events and everything going on, and so I just didn't have time to mess with it. And then 2025 rolled around, and it was February, and he was trying to get his long altered going, and we had plans of trying to run 2 cars, but then the long altered, we weren't sure it was going to make in time. There was some delays and the chassis and various things, and so ultimately, like, we decided that he was going to be the driver of the Bushwhacker. Well, then he kind of changed his mind and put me in it, and I was really pretty nervous. I'll be honest, the first 2 times in that car I wanted to be anywhere in the world but in that car. But after about 2 or 3, I settled down and it felt okay. But it's a lot to take on, going from, as my dad says, a minivan to a nitro car.
So that was your previous ride, the minivan.
Right.
And,
minivan, man. Yep.
Yeah. So, well, you had quite the outing at Mo-Kan, and everyone coming into there on a Friday, the qualification runs on Friday night, the 3-second runs were not too many. There was 3 of them, and you had one of them at the 397. And so coming into Saturday, there was some people that had some mindset of, I'm not sure how quick and fast this race is going to be. It definitely changed on Saturday, and a lot of that change was in your camp. I mean, you came out after a 397 on Friday and a 444 on your second run Friday with a 4 flat in that last qualifier. But then you went right to 376 in your first round win over Jake Sanders. So you guys were either holding it close to the vest or you found something good on Saturday, because that 376 at 203, that was quite a shot.
Well, I mean, we knew Jake's fast, and so we knew we had to ramp it up. At the same time, we were experiencing what a lot of other people were experiencing. We were having some issues getting down the track. We were experiencing some tire shake. Thursday night, I mean, it shook so hard that the fuel tank, the brace that goes over it, it broke all the rivets on both sides. The motor mounts were loose. The points box was like just dangling there. I mean, it shook hard, so I really, for the first time, got to experience what a true hard shake is like, because I experienced a little shakes and stuff, but anyways, yeah. And so in round 1, we knew we had to go for it, and it did shake about half track and pretty much for the rest of the run. But if the other one was a 9 out of 10, that one was like a 2.5 to 3 out of 10. So, I still had some vision. I could see where I was at and everything. And then, and then all of a sudden it cleared up and we were good. But yeah, so it worked out, but we knew we had to lay down a lick on that one.
Well, and I'd say you were ready for it, because you're talking about being able to see. You could see what you could see, but I tell you what Jake could see. He could see the Bushwhacker out front because you left on him by 11/100ths of a second.
Right. Well, I mean, yeah, we didn't know what was going to happen, right? So I was prepared. I was trying to cut a good light. That was the goal. And as you saw later, that doesn't always pan out in the final round. But yeah, Yeah, it worked in my favor that round.
Yeah, you were definitely on top of the game, and of course, Jake and the Mitchell bunch out of Tennessee with that dragster had just been so fast all year that you take them lightly at your own peril, and you guys obviously did not do that. So you were the dragster, taking out the dragsters first two pair as you followed up your 376 with the 363 in the semifinals. And the speed up at 209 miles an hour and a win over Gary Wheeler. Now, that team out of Tulsa, the Grand Prix Autosports guys, they came out and after a couple of troubled runs in qualifying, they ran 383 3 times in a row. They absolutely had that car dialed in. It just wasn't quite enough to take out your 363 in that semifinal. So you got quicker, you got faster, and you got another trip to the final.
Yeah, we knew we had to run good against Gary. We knew we could not, it had to be a solid run, or they was going to beat us. And Gary's quick on the tree usually, and so we just knew we had to go down there and lay a good run, and we knew they were going to crank it up too. So that's what we did, and we had lane choice at that time, and it seemed like that and the left lane was favorable, so we gave that a shot and didn't have any shake that time, and it went straight down Broadway and laid down a pretty good lap.
Yeah. Now, you alluded to you don't always get sometimes what's good for the goose is good for the gander, and that final round, John Umlauf was out on you quite a bit. And so, you can be proud for a while, but sometimes drag racing is very humbling. And so you were playing chase there for a while. You could see the mass chaos with the I tell you what, one of the cool things about you two guys running is those big pumps and those big header flames, because in the final round it's dark, and that is a great show with those header flames over the wings, and you guys just in a knockdown drag out all the way down the racetrack. You had to be able to see those header flames out of his car for quite a while.
Yeah, like they're so big, they're blinding. John could just turn them down just a little bit, so on the other lane, wouldn't be blinding us. So the plan next time, if I have to race him, is just to get out ahead of him, I guess. So that's that maybe will work a little better. Yeah, that was bad light. Yep, that was didn't work out in my favor, but luckily the car saved me. So that worked out. But I have to give that one to the car and the team 100%. Yep. I faltered on that one.
Well, sometimes the driver bails out the crew, and sometimes the crew bails out the drivers. And you guys had every team has had that happen to them. But you guys you got a new crew this year for the most part. After a few years of different personnel, you've got a new crew working for you this year.
Yeah, I want to take just a minute. I want to talk about our crew, and I'm going to talk about guys that have, past crew members, that are still part of the team, and may help in the future and stuff. So yeah, we had a fellow running with us the last couple of years, Chuck Dwayne, and Dwayne, if I'm saying that right. Anyways, yeah, there were several races where it was just the three of us, Dad, Chuck, and I, and those are tough. Those are real tough. But we were usually able to just squeeze it in just barely and get it done. And then I'd been walking around the races, and I'd seen this fella helping other crew, from time to time. And then it turned out that the car that he was helping at the time wasn't going to be running. And so, I talked to the fella, Mike Eastland Sr., and he and his son both came on board, and they're doing really well. Enjoy their company. His wife comes out, and their kiddos and grandkids and everything. And then we have Tim and Van. They, also another father-son duo. And then, got with my dad and myself, and then Crazy Randy comes out and helps us sometimes. And then, of course, and then there's all the people involved that are helping behind the scenes, that in reality, like, my wife, I couldn't do it without my wife. She's, if she wasn't taking care of my, helping my daughter train this week, I wouldn't have been able to go to this other race. Yes, I'm on the phone talking with them about all that, but and I'm flying back tomorrow to make sure I'm there in time for it. But it's one of those things, and same goes for my mom. Dad couldn't do it without her support, and all the ladies that come out, all the wives of all the pit crew members that allow them to do that. And I think that's the same, and that's that way for every team. I think that there's a lot of support people that make things happen. You guys, you interview the drivers, but the reality is it's really the crew that makes the car go. It's the driver gets in it, and the driver can lose a race, and sometimes the driver wins a race, but for the most part, I'll give most of the credit to the car and the team, and the tuners, and some of the credit to the driver. So, yeah, sorry if I offend anybody. Those are just my personal beliefs, but I do think that more drag races than not can be lost by the driver, but not won. I mean, but I'm inexperienced, so what do I know?
Well, I'd say from your record, you're learning fast, and I didn't hear anything offensive to anyone there, because it's definitely a team sport. Yeah, the driver gets the trophy and he gets the interview at the top end, and sometimes on the live stream and on the shows. But we absolutely know that it's a team deal, and it is team driven, and that team driven has more than one meaning, by the way. Hey, I got to tell you, the folks out there in Chaos Land, we had the Champions Banquet for the Lone Star Forklift Outlaw Fuel Alternate Association, and when I came into that, Cody comes up to me and he says, "Hey, you ought to check this out." And what he had was a virtual reality mask that you put on, and he put it on me, and I got to be. I recognized where I was immediately once I started looking around, and I was in the staging lanes at Mid-State Dragway, and because this was a 3D virtual reality pass down the track at Mid-State Dragway at last year's championship finals. And man, you talk about a really cool experience. I mean, literally, you can look around, you can look up and see the sky, you can look up, look forward and see the track and the Christmas tree. You look over to the right, and at Central Illinois or Mid-State Dragway, once again, they have this 3-story tower. That's where I used to sit, and so I mean, it was great, and I really appreciated you doing that to give me that experience. Now, you guys are doing that with you and your T-shirt sellers there. With people come and pick up a T-shirt or pick up some bushwhacker gear at the races, you'll give them the opportunity to do that, right? Are you finding some folks that are, as taken with that as I am?
Oh yeah. I mean, we put up a little sign. My daughter at the last race, Chaos race, she made a little sign, and we bought her a little piece of cardboard, and she drew, our car and everything, put it on there, free 3D ride or whatever. But when people put it on, like, you don't realize how cool it is. I even thought the first time I figured out how to do it and got it all working, I was like, oh man, I had never driven or anything. And I was like, this is pretty neat. And I wasn't sure it was going to work out. I was just playing around with it and got it all working. And yeah, it's pretty cool. I think that a lot of the fans enjoy it. It's also pretty neat, like spinning around and watching, from angles you've never seen before, like riding the car backwards. That was like the second thing that I did after I rode it forwards. I want to see what it's going like backwards, and kind of looking around, you get to see, you're like, oh, there's Chris Graves, and, oh, there's the Redline Media guy, and you just look around, and there's Pete Dove, and you see all the people, that around, standing around there, and it's just kind of neat to experience it. Yeah. So, yeah, the next race, come see us. Yeah, buy a T-shirt and take a ride on the bushwhacker.
And that's a great concept, and I love to see you guys introducing that. So, speaking of the next race, there's only one left, and it is the championship finals, and you are locked in a duel with the Mass Chaos team to see who's going to be the 2025 DMP Awnings Nitro Chaos champion. And I know you got a thing or two to do between now and then, but what are your thoughts so far?
Well, let me tell you. So, Umi, when you win a race, he comes and gives you a kiss, right? Like at Eddyville last year when the World Fielder Nationals, we were standing there at the finish line, and I kind of saw him crouched over in the corner, and he's kind of walking up all stealthily, and I was like, man, I was kind of looking at him a little bit, and I was like, man, what's going on? He had his racing suit on, He sneaks over there. Next thing I know, he runs up and gives Dad a kiss right on the lips. I've got pictures of it. I'm telling the honest to God truth. So I was thinking, you know what? Hey, that's pretty nice. I could get me a kiss this year. But in all seriousness, he covered his mouth. But from behind, the photographers got the perfect picture. They got it. It does look like he's giving Dad a kiss, and then you see Dad pulling back, and there's several different angles of it. Yeah, and Dad told me, he goes, man, if you had really given me a kiss, that would have been bad news, my man. But no,
well, that championship.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh, nothing. I was going to say that championship finals is shaping up to be an epic throwdown, as you guys are separated by 1 point, and then third, fourth, and fifth, they come in separated by 3 points. So there's an awful lot that could take place at that event, and we're excited about it.
It's very exciting, It's definitely worked out well, like from a promotional perspective. I really wish, I red lit in Cincinnati in the first round. And that's a real bummer, because, it wouldn't have been so tight if I wouldn't have done that. But I did make a mistake on that, and it's made it really exciting now. So it's going to come down the wire. Who knows what will happen? Like it could come down to qualifying order. It could come down to anything. We'll just see how it plays out. Excited and nervous about it all at the same time.
Yep. Well, I tell you what, Cody Austin, thank you very much for spending some time with us and telling us the stories from the Bushwhacker camp. And we will look forward to seeing you at the next race. And we'll also look forward to seeing you guys running that Bushwhacker Mustang as you guys are heading to, where is it next? Columbus?
Yep. It'll be back at Columbus, September 5th and 6th. Yep. Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. Well, best of luck to you and your dad and all the family. And we can't wait to see you again.
All right. Thanks for having me on. I really appreciate it.
You betcha. You betcha. All right. That's Cody Austin, and he is reporting in from their base camp in the Midwest for their operations when they're running up there with the funny car and with the fuel altered for Nitro Chaos. So great information from them and a lot to get excited about. And that championship finals event at Mid-State Dragway is going to be epic. You can just mark that down and make sure you're there October 3rd and the 4th for that championship finals event. So when we come back, we're going to talk with our winner from the CP Carrillo B Field, the Street Fuel Coupe guy out of Wisconsin, Brian Coleman. He's in the green room and ready to go, and we'll have him coming up right after this.
Larice Motorsports Insurance offers drag racers the broadest insurance policies in the industry. Larice Motorsports Insurance was created by racers for racers. Larice insures race cars on and off the track, trailers and equipment. Larice even pays racers contingencies at the fling bracket races. Don't wait until it's too late. Call Larice Motorsports Insurance today.
Driven Racing Oil's GP1 Nitro 70. Trusted by top engine builders, winning racers, and devoted horsepower enthusiasts across the world, Driven takes legendary base oils such as the ones from Bradford, Pennsylvania, which comprise our GP1 line. Then, we boost that superior base oil with state-of-the-art additive packages. Driven's GP1 Nitro 70 not only provides anti-wear protection, but can shield cylinders from washout and fuel dilution caused by methanol or nitro-based fuel. Learn more about Driven Racing Oil by following us on Facebook or Instagram at Driven Racing Oil, or shop now at drivenracingoil.com.
We are back with Brian Coleman joining us on Chaos Live here tonight. You can see that Street Fuel Coupe in the background with that distinctive green color. Buddy, we're glad to have you back on Chaos Live, and you got something to celebrate this time for sure.
Yeah, pretty back. I always appreciate it. You hear me?
Oh, so the internet not coming in all that great right now, so hopefully that will get itself sorted out. But we're glad to have you back, and you had an eventful weekend as you announced earlier in the year that you were going to chase the points in 2025 with that Street Fuel Coupe, and came to Ennis, had some troubles, but before you left, you made a statement run after repairing the transmission on the car and put up that 4-second run that a lot of us had been looking for. And then you did a lot of that at Mo-Kan over the weekend. All right. So, Brian, we've either got you muted or something with the internet is not allowing us to hear what you're saying.
How
there
about
you go.
now? Is it working?
It is working better
Okay.
now.
Great. Thanks for having me on. Over the season, we've been getting the car to run much better. Jerry Newman has been an integral part of all that with his tune-up. And it's been a safe tune-up, and every weekend that we take it out, it goes a little faster.
Yeah, it has been great. Now, Friday was nothing to write home about at Mo-Kan with a couple of qualifying runs that were that made it look like a street legal machine. But Saturday, when you came out for qualifying and you put a 465 on the board, I tell you, the crowd was going wild, and I was pretty darn excited myself. I bet it was pretty exciting behind the wheel, too.
Well, a lot of people don't know that we crashed the car 2 weeks earlier in Eddyville, and we hit the wall, and it bent up a lot of stuff in the back of the car. And it was quite the challenge to get everything put back together, and we didn't know what the car was going to do on the first qualifying pass. And the car was pulling hard to the right. I was on and off the gas 3 times. All 3 times it pulled hard to the right. So we got it in the pits. I put a flat and a half in the 4-bar. And on the qualifying number 2, it went straight, but the guy in the other lane ended up in my lane. So we had to scrub that pass. So we woke up Saturday morning being 17th in a 16-car show. We knew we had to get it done, and we got it done, and I think we qualified in 11th. So we were in the show, and we were happy about that. So it was a challenge to even qualify.
So you had been at Eddyville at their Night of Fire, and things got crazy up there, and you wound up putting the car or having the car get into the wall. Is that right?
That's right. I was racing Roger Lechtenberg in the Nitro Madness car, and about half to 3/4 track, for some reason, the car just darted to the right, and we smacked the wall. It cut down the tire, bent up the bead lock, bent the heim joints, bent the track bar, bent the clevises up front, and we were scrambling to get things put back together.
Well, first of all, we're glad that you're okay. And secondly, we're glad that you were able to get the car back together so that you could continue to race. This year has been a lot of changes, I guess, going all the way back to last year when you ran the series and really decided to step things up. You and Jerry Newman have been extremely busy in the off season and then all through this season putting things together to make this car really shine.
Well, the biggest thing we did was, besides Jerry's tune-up, and he was kind of handcuffed on what he could do because we only had the little tires. This car was set up to really look like a nostalgia car, and I had the Bear Claw magnesium wheels on it, and I really liked those things. But once Jerry started doing his magic, it was pretty apparent that the little tires just weren't going to cut it. So in the off season, one of my crew members, Jerry Kay, he did the work on the back of the car, and we narrowed the track of the car 13 inches, and we put little Bubba's on the back, and then the car really started working, and Jerry started putting more power in it, and every week that we race, he puts a little bit more in it, and it's showing. You know, that was probably the biggest thing we did was the tires, and it's really paying off.
Yeah, that rear end with the bigger tires able to give you a bigger contact patch. Yeah, there's a good picture of it on the screen right there with the with the header flames and the bigger tires. And, you put on the board a 465, a 477, and then in the semifinal, a 458 at 164 miles an hour. Now, you've got some goals for your 2025 racing season, and you are knocking them down just one by one.
Well, we started out with, getting the car to launch, and we've knocked off several 1.0 60 foots, which isn't too bad for a 2,900-pound street car that tows a trailer. And once we got that under control, Jerry's been tuning up the top end. We've added a little bit more blower to it. We've added a little bit more nitro to it. And we just keep pecking away at this thing little by little. And it's hit some 440s as well. I guess our goal by the end of the year is to go 430. Maybe we can do that in Havana. As far as 2025 goes, I'd like to run the whole series, and I'll definitely have a spare transmission with me, because that's what screwed us up in Enos and Iowa was the Lenko. So we'll have a spare so that doesn't happen again.
Yeah. Well, you are definitely a gentleman that's prepared, and even when you're not prepared for something that gets thrown at you out of left field, you are certainly a master of improvisation. After the race win at Mo-Kan, getting back to Wisconsin proved to be a bit of an adventure.
Yeah, that is to say the least. After spending 3 days in the hot weather, all we wanted to do was get on the road and get home. And outside of St. Louis, about 50 miles, tire went out on the trailer. And then we were about 30 miles from St. Louis. There's a huge accident right in front of us. A pickup truck towing a camper flipped over, and a pickup truck towing a boat lost the boat. And there was only one way around this accident, and the police weren't even on the scene. And the only way around was through the breakdown lane by the median. And when we went through it, we all looked at each other when the big bang happened, like, what was that? And when I went to take the truck out of the breakdown lane into a regular lane of traffic, that's when I found out I didn't have any power steering, power brakes, and the engine was overheating. So I knew the serpentine belt had flown off. Luckily, there was an off ramp right by this accident, maybe a quarter to a half mile down the road, and we got off and flipped open the hood and saw the belt was off, and there was about an 8-inch gash in the radiator. We drove through something, and we knew we were in trouble. We were not getting home on time. And then to make matters worse, I found a radiator about 4 miles away, and I needed a ride, and there was a Starbucks right there where we were broke down. And I was asking people for rides, and no one would give me a ride. I'm offering to pay for the coffee, give them free T-shirts, give them money for gas. No one would take us up. There's 2 young gals in the corner. I asked them. They turned me down, so I went out in the parking lot, and I found a guy that would give me a ride to the Advanced Auto. While that was going on, the girls told the manager that some creep was trying to pick them up and wanted to ride around in their car. So the manager called the cops. And while I'm picking this radiator up, the cops are staked out watching us and what we're doing. And I get back to the radiator, and we find out it's the wrong radiator. So we got to start the whole process all over again. I found the radiator, total stroke of luck, at another Advanced Auto Parts. This one was a little further away, but at least they had the darn thing. Last time I needed one of these radiators, it was on national back order and took 10 days to get it. So I was just glad to get the radiator. And when we got back, we just got to work. We got the truck off the road into a gas station. They had a big enough parking lot where we weren't in the way, but there was no shade, and it was, 95, 97 degrees. And we did some improvising, let's say, and workarounds to get that radiator out without disconnecting the air conditioner. I didn't have the tools to take the fan off to get the serpentine belt on, but we did finally get the thing working again, and nothing was leaking, and we started going down the road, and just when we got cooled off, we got another flat tire. Something must have cut up another tire, and I didn't get home till 4 a.m. So it was a battle just getting home. It's part of the story, but we don't give up, and we're ready to go again. Got all new tires on the trailer.
That sounds like quite the adventure, and we're glad you got the new tires for the journey to Havana coming up for that championship final. So I don't know if one of your goals was to finish in the top 10. I'm quite confident it was, since you were chasing the championship, but you've already worked your way up to number 10 in the points, and going into Havana with the success that you've had, getting that car down the racetrack in such a hurry and doing so well. I think that your fans and your ever-growing group of fans is probably pretty excited to see what's going to happen down there in the middle of the cornfield there near Havana, Illinois, for that championship finals. And I hope a lot of them come out to see you, and probably even bring you some cold beverages to help you get over the heat from that trip back from Mo-Kan.
Yeah, that would be great. We're looking to stay in the top 10. That's our main focus when we get to Havana. We want to finish the season in the top 10, and when the season's over, we want to take the car to Union Grove, my hometown track, and we want to make some quarter-mile hits on it and try and go 210 or better with the car.
Man, that will be fun. That will be something to see, and we will be tuning in for that, and hope you'll let us know when that's happening. At the kind of coverage that your car gets on social media, it's quite a bit. So I don't think it'll be hard for us to find when you go out there. But your combination, your car, the idea of a street legal nitro burner, it just draws people in. And man, I'm so excited that you're racing with us, and of course having the opportunity to come away with that trophy. You got to win over a couple of over a fuel altered, a fuel funny car, and then the red light by your opponent in the final. You kind of caught a break on that run in the final round, because the car was not really wanting to get up to the starting line there, was it?
No, to touch on the first part of your comment, I think it really shows the uniqueness of the Nitro Chaos format, that I could run a fuel altered, a flip top funny car, and a dragster all in eliminations. That's pretty cool. I think the fans really get into that. They never know what kind of race is coming up to the starting line, and the diversity is unparalleled in any other kind of drag racing. It's really cool. As far as going up to the starting line for that final, we were having trouble with the fuel shutoff. It was starting to stick, and I was having trouble operating it with my cable, and it was getting worse every round. And when we were in the staging lanes, the guy, Jerry K, that normally starts my car, he was working it back and forth, and it seemed to loosen up and free up where I could start the thing. And then when we rolled up to fire it up, it wouldn't start, and it would only run off the gas that was squirted in the injectors. And somehow yanking on this cable, I got it to just open just a crack to allow enough fuel for the engine to stay running. And I tried to do a burnout, and there was nothing there. And I rolled up to the line, and I just figured, well, we're going to have to, you never know. A guy could red light or something, and I could get lucky. And sure enough, that's exactly what happened. And I hit the gas to go down the track, and nothing really happened. The pictures show flames coming out of the pipes because it was so lean. And all I could do was idle down the track. The crowd didn't know any different. They just figured I was saving the engine because the other guy red lighted. But when I got to the top end of the track, I apologized profusely to the driver and their crew that it took a little bit to get to the starting line. But as the driver, it's my job to drive the car. And as long as they were giving me time to start the car, that's exactly what I was going to do. I was going to try and start the car. And I know they want to see two cars going down the track in the final. And, I don't know what happened with the other guy's car, if there was something happening there, but, it's just racer luck for me and the drag racing for the other guy. And that's not how I want to win races. That's, not the way I want to do it. So, needless to say, I have a bag of these O-rings in my trailer if that should ever happen again.
Well,
you could change them
you came away with the trophy, and what a cool trophy that is, from Twisted Shifters and 360 Steel, and you're one of the proud owners of one now. And we've got this championship finals coming up, and I know that a lot of people are excited about seeing your car coming on down. One of the things that somebody was asking is, when you were broke down with the transport and you're having to get to the auto parts store, your car is street legal. We were thinking, well, why didn't you just start up the Nitro car and go to the parts store?
Yeah. Well, when we raced it at the CHAOS events, we lighten it up a little bit, and we take the radiator out of the trunk, and we take the gas tank out of the trunk, and we take the water pump and alternator off, and we take the water out of the block. So we do that to lighten it up. And but yeah, normally you could. I mean, I've taken this thing to cruises. I've actually taken it to the grocery store, believe it or not. I've taken it on drag week and things like that. This car has thousands and thousands of street miles on it. But if I would have had those parts with me, or the car was set up for the street, that would definitely be an option.
Yeah, that is something that crossed my mind. I'm sure it crossed several people's mind. But we're ecstatic that you got home with the trophy, with the car, and you guys in tired but in good condition. And we get a chance to see you once again at Havana for the championship finals coming up. Hey, Brian, thank you so much for being with us. The first thing that happened when I got to Mo-Kan, I was riding around out there on Thursday, and I pulled up to your pits because I wanted to visit with you, and you guys had gone into town, but I got a chance to visit with Randy Jackson that was waiting to see you there, and I think he wound up helping you guys a little bit, crewing on your car through the weekend. So between the Jerrys and you and Randy, you guys had a good weekend, and it was exciting to see you guys take that trophy home.
Yeah, thanks a lot. I appreciate it. Hats off to my guys that didn't give up, and not only at the track, but didn't give up on the side of the road. And let me tell you, that was a hot, miserable mess, and we got it done. And we're looking forward to Eddyville for their Fuel Alter Nationals, and we're super excited about going to Havana again for the World Finals, and hopefully we can go a few rounds and stay in the top 10.
Excellent. Well, Brian, again, thank you for taking time out. You hurrying home from work so we could talk to you and hear from you. And congratulations on the event victory. We'll see you in Havana.
Okay,
all right, ladies and gentlemen, Brian Coleman. You bet. Brian Coleman there with a report. You can see the Street Fuel Coupe in the background after they had quite the weekend, and they continue to write the book of Street Legal Nitro with the Street Fuel Coupe there. So we've had a chance to hear from the two winners of the Nitro Chaos event at Mo-Kan, and we will be coming back with our final segment right after these words from our sponsors.
Founded in 1968, Grand Prix Auto Sports Center has been serving the greater Tulsa area and nationwide for over 56 years. Over 3.5 million part numbers available to you in stock from all the leading high-performance manufacturers. We've got parts, we've got nitrous and fuel, we've got what you need to go fast in many forms of motorsports. Swing by the shop, give us a call, or browse our catalog online at GrandPrixAuto.com.
Taylor Motorsports Products is your first stop for quality safety equipment for your car or your driver. All of our safety equipment products are made in our facility in Albany, Oregon. From custom fit fire suits to racing seat belts, supercharger restraints, engine diapers, transmission blankets, and many other must-have items. Our racing history runs deep. We are racers building the finest safety equipment for racers. And we're a proud supporter of the Chaos.
Well, Lee, a good pair of interviews there with a couple of great racers, and we got the chance to see some really good action up there, and bringing it to our fans on the live stream now for every race of the rest of the year. That was exciting news that we got a chance to share with the fans. Lee, I think you're muted.
Yep, I was muted. Yeah, that's the plan. Bring live action from every Chaos race possible for the rest of the year. So that's going to be exciting for everyone involved, and whether they're marketing partners or they're fans or racers, to showcase Chaos live for each and every event.
Now we have, it's been a while since we had Funny Car Chaos going down the racetrack. It seems like it's been forever. And I know a lot of folks are undergoing withdrawal symptoms. But this Summer Thunder event coming up for our first time ever at Byron Dragway, August 15th and 16th. Of course, it'll be on the live stream, but there's no substitute for being there in person. I was working on the travel arrangements today, and it should be a good time there. As we go into that event with 3 races left, now it's not like we're down to just one race left, but the battle at the top of the points list is no less epic than it is on the Nitro Chaos side. Fastlane Shane, your 2024 champion, sitting on top, but he's got a 5-point lead over a couple of guys. Keith Zimmer and Brian Lewis, both 5 points behind at 147 points. And Lee Lovell with 146, just 1 point out of second place. And Justin Herbst, 145, and Justin Malott, 139. And right after that, you got Kirk Williams, Bob Alberti Jr., and Bill Bernard. So those are all the racers that have 100 points or more. So they are going into the final, but you can keep on going down that list with 3 races left and 63 points available at 3 separate races. Anything can happen. It's not a question of whether it's going to be a tight battle. It's going to be a question of if anybody chooses not show up or experiences some trouble at a race. But this is going to be an incredible finish to the season. And we go Byron, we go back to Mo-Kan for the Labor Day Weekend Classic, and then finish the year at a place that we've never been before, Great Lakes Dragway at Union Grove. That's going to be so much fun to see these 3 events and see our Funny Car Chaos competitors again. It's been so long, but there's a lot of stuff that is getting ready to happen in Funny Car Chaos, and this it's working its way, Lee, towards another one of those epic final races of the year at the championship finals to see who's going to take away the championship for the 2025 racing season.
It's true. We have got that on the Nitro Chaos side, though we're just waiting for that last race that will take place at Mid-State Dragway, and we've got that on the Funny Car Chaos side. And what I like in how things have shaped up, we've got a cross-field battle going on as well. You've got some people who will never face each other, more than likely, on race day, vying for the championship across A, B, and C fields. So it is up for grabs out of several different fields with so many different competitors, and the storylines are going to continue to be great and worth watching and reading and being engaged over. From, Byron, which is a great facility. I fully think and fully expect they're going to embrace Funny Car Chaos when we're finally able to get up there with beautiful sunshine and weather to race in. And it is a great facility that I think is going to fit so well into the Funny Car Chaos racing portfolio. Obviously, Mo-Kan, loves the chaos, and they love drag racing. What a special fan base they really are in the world of drag racing. And then all the way up to Wisconsin for the last race of the year, and a new place for Funny Car Chaos Racing with the honor and the distinction of the championship finals. That is great news as well. The chaos wealth is being spread, and it is such a good thing for the series and for the racers. And we're going to have a battle in Nitro Chaos and in Funny Car Chaos right down to the line, I believe. And definitely in Funny Car Chaos, we've got a situation where I think we'll have talking points just about out of every competitive field.
I agree. And we'll be here to bring you the action from the live stream, as we're going with a bit of a different approach, and we're hoping that you like it a lot. And I think there's going to be a lot to like. And we'll be recapping it for you on Chaos Live and talking with our winners and talking with our sponsors and supporters. And we want to be able to bring that to all of you out there in Chaos Land. So, Lee, if that's it, we'll go ahead and put a bow on this one and bring this one to a conclusion. It has been our pleasure to bring you Chaos Live here on Wednesday night and to celebrate the victories of our champions from the Nitro Chaos event at Mo-Kan Dragway. It was a great time. It's always wonderful to be there in Southwest Missouri, right across the Kansas line, and to experience the magic of drag racing at a spectacular place to experience it. We're going to be at another one of those places coming up at Byron in a couple of weeks. We hope you'll join us in person, and we invite you to be a part of it. And you see us at the racetrack, come up and be sure to come up and say hello. Our teams are ready to make a showing, and there's a lot of racers that we didn't mention that are outside the top 10, but they're looking to make a big move, and they got 3 races to do it. And there's 189 points available for somebody. And it is going to shake things up as we go into the final. So be a part of the chaos any way that you can. We love having you. So we'll call it good for tonight, and we'll invite you to join us for the next Chaos Live. I suspect that one's going to be right after the Byron race. So until the next time, be kind, be well, be awesome. Good night, everybody. We'll see you next time.
Race fans, get ready. The inaugural Fuel Over Chaos rocks historic Tucson Dragway Friday night and Saturday, November 14th and 15th. Round-pounding fuel altered from across the country go into 200-mile-per-hour combat with historic names like the Mob, Rat Poison, Bradford's Fiat, and Sheepherder. Take on new school hitters like Cone Hunter, Witch Doctor, Blown Scentless, and many more. See Bodacious Backup Girl, Header Flame, and Run What You Brung drag racing like Tucson hasn't seen in decades.
Kids 12 and under are free. Visit TucsonDragway.com for more information.
November 14th and 15th. Be there!